So, good morning everyone. I'm Rebecca Groves. I'm Head of Project at Wired Sussex, and I'm going to be talking to you today about getting a career in the sector. I'm also a very nervous public speaker, so please bear with me. So, I'm going to be talking for about 20 minutes today, and I'm going to cover three things. One, Wired Sussex, who we are, what we do. Secondly, a little bit about what we mean by the sector, and then some top tips on your career in the sector. So, Wired Sussex is a membership organisation based here in Brighton. How many of you have heard of Wired Sussex? I'm guessing most of you because you're here today. How many of you know what we do? Less, okay. So we are a membership organisation, which means that we support our members, and we have 2,500 members, which are creative, digital and IT companies or freelancers based in the Sussex area. And we support our members in a number of ways. We have a jobs board where we allow them to post adverts for people that are looking to employ, like yourselves. We have a projects board where they can look for paid work. We help them find office space in the area, and then we run a series of events for them, and we also run a series of projects, which is what I look after. And we run projects like, you're very welcome, come in. We run an intern placement programme a few years ago that was very successful. We have a big collaborative working space in New England House called the Fuse Box, which my colleague Rosalie at the back manages. We also have a large-scale project called the Digital Catapult Centre Brighton, which looks at how we can use enabling technologies to create new products and services. And all of that information is on our website. Our website is pretty clunky and old, as anyone that's been on it will notice, but we're in the process of having it rebuilt. So it's going to be all flashy and new very soon. So you can take a look at that and find out a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So we say that we support creative, digital and IT companies. And one thing that Wired Sussex is very passionate about is the fusion between creative and digital. And I really like this poster here, which we had made for something called Brighton Digital Festival, which is a festival that runs in September each year. And if you don't know of it, I'll cover it in a little bit more detail later on, but it's definitely worth checking out. And I love this poster because it says digital is not a thing, it's a way of doing things. And that's really how we think about digital. It's not just coding and programming, although that is very important. It's also digital marketing, it's filmmaking. There's a whole array of digital categories. And if you go on the Wired Sussex website under our directory, you can see how some of our members describe themselves. And I'm afraid it's slightly blurry on here, but just for example, there's things like advertising, business support, we've got legal on there. So you can see that digital isn't just about the programming and networking companies, but there's a whole broad range of things there. So getting a career in this sector, can I just ask, how many people are currently employed in the sector here? A couple of you. How many of you are working in jobs but not in the sector? A few others. Okay, quite a few. How many students? A few more. And how many don't fall in any of those categories? A few more. Okay, good to know. Just so I can try and tailor what I'm saying. So, so the first thing I would say with your career in the sector is there are no straight lines or magic formulas. So I can try my best to tell you my top tips, but everyone will find their own path as they go through their careers. And I think one thing that's really exciting about the sector is that at the moment we don't know what the jobs are going to be like in 10 years. So there's going to be so many new opportunities. And one thing I'd really encourage you to do is to keep an eye on the sorts of jobs that are available and how the market's changing and what that means for you in your career, and to kind of evaluate that yourself, and then to maybe apply some of the tips that I'll give you today, but kind of, I guess, be agile and flexible. So the first top tip is for you to think about, what do you want to be? So I think it's really interesting when you're starting your career. At least for myself, I used to work in film, and I always always wanted to be a film producer, and it wasn't until I was working as a film producer that I realised actually that perhaps wasn't exactly the career that I thought it would be. And I think just being honest with yourself and thinking, what is it that I want from my career, and what will that involve from me? And then when you've kind of decided on what job it is you want to do, I think it's really good to have a look at the job descriptions for that role. So if you think, I really want to work in digital marketing, go on the Wide Sussex website and look at the jobs that are advertised in digital marketing and what roles and what requirements are needed of those roles. And most job descriptions will have like a person specification and an experience element to it, and look through that and look at where you currently are and what you would need for that role and where those gaps are and what you can do to fill those gaps. And if you're a little bit further on in your career, maybe start to look at the jobs that are advertised the next level up. So if you're working as an events coordinator, start to look at what you would need as an events manager, and then that will help you kind of progress through your career as well. So the next thing I would say is to be proactive and to start now. So it's a great step that you guys are here today, and that already shows that you're really proactive with your careers. So well done on that. If you want to, you don't need permission for a lot of digital careers. If you want to be a copywriter, you can start now. You can set up a blog. You can start to write about anything that interests you. So if you're really interested in food, start a food blog. If you're really interested in Parks and Recreation, start a blog about Amy Poehler. I'm very tempted to do that. So you can start with whatever you want. If you want to be a filmmaker, start to make some films. If you want to work in music, find a band and start to manage them. With most jobs in our sector, you can start it yourself, and that shows employers that you're really proactive, and it starts to show the level of your work as well. I was debating putting this slide in. Has anyone heard of Tom Hardy's MySpace? Okay, maybe a few. So this is Tom Hardy's MySpace. And I think what this shows is what you put online matters, whether you're Tom Hardy or whether you're someone looking for a job. And when you meet people, the first thing that they will do is to Google you. So if you're out at an event, make sure that when you've met someone and they look at who you are, what they find is what you want them to find. And I think this is something that I found really empowering when I was looking for work, because when I wanted to work in film, I wanted to show through my online, to get passionate. When I wanted to work in film, I wanted to show through my online network that I was connected with the film industry. So what I did was to look at people who were working in companies doing similar jobs to what I wanted to do, and then I started to follow them. So that started to increase my network. Then I looked at the people that they followed and the things that they were talking about, and I started to follow those too. And what that did was to start to populate my Twitter feed with all the interesting things that I wanted employers to know that I knew about and was interested in as well. So I think that's a really good starting point. LinkedIn is obviously a big one as well. So I think, who has a LinkedIn account? Wow, everyone. Me too. Who's updated it in the last 6 months? Wow, okay, so you're way better than me, although I'm not looking for a career, honest. So that's a really good start, and I think a lot of people tend to neglect their LinkedIn accounts, and I know that when I'm interviewing and shortlisting people for roles, I always check their LinkedIn and I see who they're connected with, what they've done. So it's really great that all of you guys are already on that. And with your Facebook accounts, obviously, if you want to post pictures of yourself in your pants in your kitchen, that is your prerogative. But if you're looking for a job and you don't want employers to see that, then perhaps you might want to just not make that visible to the public. So that's the next top tip. Then get connected. And this is really important for our sector. A lot of jobs that are kind of that employers are looking to fill don't even get advertised, because they quite often will go to people who are in their networks. So what you really want to do is to make sure that you are connected with those companies. So what I would say is look on the Wide Sussex website. We have an events tab, and on that tab it will tell you all the different events that are taking place in the city. And I'm pretty much can guarantee that whatever it is that you're interested in, there will be an event happening that you could go along to. And if you're like me and you get quite nervous going to events and talking to new people, then I just like to try and give you some reassurance that a lot of these events that take place are run by people that are really passionate about the subject. So if you want to code and you go to a coding event, everyone there loves to code, and the people that are running those events quite often do it off their own back because they want to support the sector. So if you drop them an email and say, I'm coming along for the first time and it would be I'm a little bit nervous, or it'd be really great to meet you, then I'm sure they'd be happy to kind of help introduce you at the event. And so don't let nerves put you off going, and also be aware of what it is that you have to give, because all of you will have lots of experience that will be relevant for those sorts of events. So make sure that when you go, you think about what you're offering, and just make sure you have the basics covered. Have some business cards made, even if it's just your name and your contact details, and make sure that you've updated your profile so you haven't got pictures of you in your pants, and do a little bit of research beforehand. If there's an Eventbrite page for the event, look who else is going, maybe start to follow them on Twitter beforehand, so that you've kind of got some warm leads when you're there. And a few tips for when you're at the event, I would say always make sure you take a business card. And one of my top tips, because I get slightly overwhelmed when I meet so many different people, is I'll always take a pen, and when I've had a conversation with someone, sneak off to the side and just jot down on the back what it is I spoke with them about. So that could be something that they're working on in their company, or it could be that you've just been discussing where does the best pizza in Brighton. Just whatever it is that will then, when you send a follow-up email, will be that hook that will make them think, oh yeah, that's the person that I was talking to. Then after the event, make sure that you connect with everyone that you spoke with. So make sure that you're following them on Twitter, you add them to your LinkedIn. And if there is anyone that you want to follow up with, make sure you send those emails kind of relatively soon. So just a quick, don't send an essay. That was one thing I learnt when I graduated, was I would go to networking events and meet people and then send them, a 2-page essay about who I was and what I did and what I wanted my life to be. And in reality, just a quick, it was really lovely to meet you. If you have any opportunities, please bear me in mind. Goes a long way. So I would really recommend doing that as well. Then do your research as well. So, you can, once you've got your online profile set up and you've been out and you've met some people, what I spent a lot of time doing was just trawling the internet and looking for the types of companies that I wanted to work with. And Wide Sussex can make that easier for you because we have our directory page, and on the directory you can search for companies by the type of work they do. So if you want to be a programmer, you can go on and look at the companies that do that. You could also look at the jobs board and see who's advertising different sorts of roles and what they've done in the past. And what I would do, what I did, which I thought was quite useful, was I tried to limit myself to about 10 companies that I followed quite closely. So I had my top 10 companies, and I did this when I wanted to work at Wide Sussex, that I really wanted to work with. And I just signed up to their newsletters and to their Twitter accounts, and then I monitored the sorts of the news they were sharing. And if you wanted to work for a large agency and they send out a newsletter that says, we've just won this big client, that would be a perfect opportunity for you to get in touch with them and just say, just seeing that you've won X client, if you need any extra staff during this exciting project, then I'd be delighted to put myself forward. Here's my CV. And then you could also look to see if they've advertised similar sorts of roles before and make sure that you're tailoring your CV to that role. And I think that's one really important thing to do, is to make sure that you are tailoring your CV. Every CV that I've ever written has been a new version of that CV. So it's just little tweaks that you need to make each time. Research the company, look at what they do in your person specification. And we have CV workshops taking place here today, so I don't want to cover that too much, but make sure that you are in your person specification trying to mirror the culture of the company that you want to work for. Make sure that you're tailoring all of your experience to what they're looking for. And I just have them side by side, and I just literally mirror what they're asking for and how that relates to what I've done. So just making sure that you're really putting the research into who the company is and the types of roles that the types of experience that they're looking for. So as I said, Wide Sussex can help. This slide's slightly blurry on here, but I just wanted to try and signpost you to a few of the parts of our website as it currently stands that may be of use to you. So this is a very blurry version of our website, and you can't really see, I'm really sorry, but here there's a job seekers tab. So if you go onto the website and click on jobs and then on job seekers, there's this whole page that has all the information that you need, and there's videos and there's top tips. I'll come back to the microphone. There's videos and there's top tips, and what I would really encourage you to do is to sign up for job alerts. So we showcase on our website all of the jobs that are advertised, but a really easy thing that you can do is just sign up for a job alert. You can specify the types of work that you're after, and then when those jobs are advertised, they'll get sent straight to your inbox. So it's a prompt for you as well, because quite often you're not necessarily going to go on the Wide Sussex website every day to look for a job. So that kind of takes that work out for you. So I think that's something that I'd really recommend. Also, if you have some experience, if you're already working in the sector, you can upload your CV. So we have a CV database, and then employers can find you. So then you don't even have to do the work. Just put your CV up and let them come to you. So make the most of today. We've tried to create a day that will give you all of the contacts and information and resources that you need to start or progress in your career. If you have any questions, please do come and speak to anybody from the team. We have t-shirts on with the logo. I'm going to change into mine shortly. And we're here to help. So if you want to speak to anyone in particular, then come and grab someone with a t-shirt and we can definitely point you in the right direction. There's a whole series of talks that are taking place, so I encourage you to go to as many talks as you can. Go through your guide, look at the types of people that are talking, make sure you're following those. If there's someone talking about a subject that you're interested in, engage with them on social media. Take business cards, as I was saying, maybe make notes of the people that you're speaking with, send follow-up emails. Also, try and tweet about the fact that you're here as well, because then people might see you. So a lot of the Twitter handles are around for the day, but it's @Talent2017 or hashtag T17jobs. And then I just wanted to finish on a final slide, which is something that I gave a talk at the University of Brighton the other day about my career. And I really like this slide at the end, because I worry that all through my career, I've been quite worried about what's my next step, where do I go next? And what's great about our sector is it's so much fun and there's so much opportunity here. And there will be highs and there will be lows. But I was saying I definitely want to be this guy who's just enjoying it, and maybe not so much. I worry that I'm the guy next to him who's kind of like, I mean, he's having an all right time, but, or maybe the ladies in the back as well, they're having quite a good time. But definitely, I think just try and enjoy it and, yeah, enjoy the ride. So that's my 20 minutes talking. Thank you for your patience. These are my handles. That's my Twitter handle. If you want to connect with me, that would be lovely. We're at Wide Sussex. And does anyone have any questions that I could answer? Whoa, I've answered all the career questions in 20 minutes. Okay, well, that's good. Any questions about the best pizza in Brighton? Okay, well, in that case, everyone is free to enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you so much for coming. And yeah, I'll be around for the next in here for the next 15 minutes or so. So if anyone has questions they don't want to talk about in a room full of people, I know that feeling. I'll be here, so feel free to come and have a chat. Thank you.